Hey beauty babes, welcome back to A Dose of Kryssy. I'm Kryssy and I'm so glad that you're here. Today we're gonna get a dose of all of my October favorites, okay? All of my October favorites I've been using to achieve my makeup look throughout all October. And even now, like, you guys can see my face, like, it just looks so put together. It looks perfect. Like, this makeup look, I really did that. I really put my wrist in that, because all the blending and all the stuff I was doing, I can kind of feel it in my wrist. But your girl did that, and I can't wait to share with you how I achieved this look. But before we get into these products, you gotta be a beauty babe. You gotta subscribe. Like, that's the only requirement to be here, okay? So hit that subscribe button and let's get started into my October makeup favorites. Let me start by putting my hair back before we get into the face. Also, I wanted to put on my SPF with y'all and chit chat with you about it. Girl, can you talk? I think so. Okay. I wanted to chit chat with y'all about it, but I had put it on. I wasn't thinking, but the SPF that I use is the Youth Extending Daily Hydrating Fluid with Broad Spectrum SPF from Paula's Choice. I love to put this on. I've been leaning towards this a lot more in October, and I've been using this a lot more. I actually had to buy a new one. This is a new one because it just feels lightweight on my skin, and I know my skin is getting that coverage, but also my skin is getting like serum benefits, if you know what I mean, because it is a youth extending hydrating fluid. So I just feel like it leaves my skin feeling hydrated. I get protection, but not just that, it almost has like a tad bit of a blurring effect, if you know what if you kind of get what I'm saying, or if you've ever used it. Yeah, it says that it's a water light fluid that minimizes the appearance of pores, and I don't want to say it does that a whole lot, but it comes out in this like milky white consistency that I feel it dries down beautifully into the skin, but it does add that like minimal minimizes the appearance of the pores. The second thing that I have been using, that this is another re-up, is the Xoxo Brow Pop. I know they recently came out with the micro brow, which it's cute, it looks good, but I think you have to be using that just for minimal hair strokes. Like, if you're a real like draw in the brows girl, the brow pop is where you want to go. But let me go ahead and fill in these brows real quick, and then we'll get back on track with the favorites. Okay, brows are done, and I did do a little bit of eyeshadow. The eyeshadow is nothing special. It's just palettes that I've been using. If you want to know what it is, you can go ahead and check down in the description box. But moving on to a primer. Now, this primer I have been picking up over and over again this past month. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Primer. I guess this would be the primer of the Danessa Myricks Boring Balm foundation line. I like to use the Yummy Skin Universal. This right here is a blurring balm powder. You can use it for the face and the eyes, and it's universal because it is just like plain translucent color. And I love that it comes with this little spoolie on the back. Little spoon on the back. You can just pick up the product that you need. Now, why I love using this primer right here, let you guys get a close-up on it. Why I love using this primer is because it literally says what it has on it with obsolete technology. Now, I feel like girls have been using this and they really haven't been reading the packaging or like doing their research on what this really is. It's a blurring balm powder, and it has technology of obsolete, which basically locks in oils on your skin so that you have a pretty much matte face all day, oil-free face all day. Now, I like to just make sure I get this nicely layered on my skin. It's not a lotion. It's not, you know, and that's just the thing about primer. Like, they're not lotions. They're not meant to like soak into your skin. It's supposed to be a layer between your makeup and your skin, your skincare, just to give you like that nice bright base. So I'm not rubbing it in. I just like to put a nice layer over my whole face. And sometimes I OD on this, and it's okay. You can OD on this a little bit if you want. It has a balm to powder texture. Like, my face doesn't look greasy. My face still looks like the same. Like, I haven't put anything on it really. So if you have been needing a primer, or if you have oily skin, this is gonna be your go-to product. Even if you get oily in the fall, I think this would be good because it's not heavy. It's super lightweight, and I think that would be really good for you to use. Because it's balmy, it's moisturizing, but because it has that obsolete technology in it, it's locking in the oil, so my face doesn't feel dry when I take off my makeup. Or underneath my makeup, my face doesn't feel like it could crack, you know, under pressure any second. Moving on to foundation. Now, you're like, girl, what is that? That's not a foundation bottle. This is the sample of the Makeup by Mario foundation that I have been using, y'all. And I truly can't get enough of it, really. I need something to help me get this out of here, though, for sure. I just made a makeup video on this foundation, which you should definitely check it out. And if I had to compare it to something, I can tell you what I won't compare it to. I won't compare it to Fenty. So if you're looking for a foundation that's matte, this isn't it. This is not a matte foundation, but this is a foundation that has really good coverage, where you can build up the coverage and your face won't feel heavy with foundation. That's what I can basically say. Like, this foundation isn't runny. If you can see inside there, it's not runny. It's all in place. It's like gel-like. So when you're using it, it's not running down the hand. It literally just stays right there. It's like a gel-like consistency, which I really like, because that's how I know that that makeup does have coverage and it's gonna build. But what I can say about this foundation is that I really, really like it. I wasn't expecting to like this foundation so much, but turns out I'm really liking this foundation. I need a new foundation brush, one right here in front of me. The foundation brush that I'm using is the LYS Beauty foundation brush. This has been my go-to foundation brush, pretty much my favorite. I have 3 of these. I like to pick these up each time. If you're looking for a really good foundation brush, it'll be linked down in the description box for sure. Moving on to concealer. The concealer I have been picking up, I'm gonna keep saying this, everything I have been picking up all month, so hopefully I can get that out of my system. This concealer right here, this is the Xoxo Skin Revealer Concealer in the shade 8. Usually I double up on concealers, but with this, I have just been placing it right where I need it, not going in with 2, because I mean, if you want a bright eye, then go for the bright eye. Like, why do we need to sugarcoat? Why do we need to sugarcoat anything and try to add in, you know, a concealer down here, one color, a concealer up there, one color? Like, I've just landed on the fact that I want the whole thing to be bright, and I know how to dim it down as well. What I am doing is using pretty much all the product on this. I'm not gonna double dip in here. And I just want to pretty much set this concealer in all the places that I want it and dot that down the middle. Now I'm gonna let that sit there and let it soak, let it marinate. And one thing about the Xoxo concealer is that this is an eye cream. So it doubles as an eye cream. It's hydrating. I haven't noticed any cracking or separating. That's one thing I can say for sure. So yeah, girl, you want a hydrating concealer? Xoxo is your girl. Now for bronzer, y'all, we're going in with the creamiest bronzer that is known to man right now, okay? The RYIA Beauty creamiest bronzer. It's not called the creamiest bronzer. It's called the No Limits bronzer, and I use the shade Strength. And what I like to do, there's actually quite a bit like kind of packed on the edges here. What I like to do is brush it up, and there's some extra like on the sides, but what I like to do is just rub it on the back of my hand, and I put a good amount on the back of my hand, and like whatever extras are on the side, I'll pick that up and put that back there. But yeah, this bronzer is that girl. I don't know a creamier bronzer than this one right here that is this pigmented. The only thing I do wish that LYS will do in the future, LYS Beauty, is make more shades. Because these I feel like are really warm and are rich, and I feel like we need some cooler tones. And I stopped applying it straight to my face because, I mean, damn, y'all see that? Right? Like, yeah, so I stopped applying it straight to my face because I just noticed that it took me longer to blend out. It was just a little too harsh to blend out. I like my contour bronze a lot more now because I can build it up. It looks subtle. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like the subtle look. I mean, we still want to see her. We want her to be there, but we just don't need her to be like all the way there. Like all the way there like that, you know? Yeah. And sometimes I really don't care how far up I go with this concealer because, I mean with this bronzer, because the concealer is gonna cover it, but also I'm gonna put blush on. Add a little bit more in this, and that's also like why I like to put it on the back of my hands, because now I'm in control of how much or less I wanna add. See, the cheeks is coming together already, baby. Already. I'm gonna take what is left on my foundation brush and just kind of like carve out the bottom of where I had that contour, because I don't want it that I still want there to be separation, and just to kind of like blend in the bottom. I think I'll put the blush on after I blend out this concealer. So I like to go in. Also, I really have been loving the Real Techniques blenders. You can use them dry, you can use them wet. Because I've been using this some time and I feel like I know how to use it for myself, this is dry. But my regular beauty blenders, like from the brand Beauty Blender, I would use wet, and also the orange sponges from Real Techniques, I would use wet. But this Real Technique sponge, you can use it wet or dry. I actually prefer to use it dry. I feel like the coverage is there. It doesn't pick up a whole bunch of product. So I'm staking along the edges, but I'm really trying to follow the line of where I put everything, because sometimes I feel like I go down in like a U motion, but I'm just trying to stay up in this motion. And also, I don't like to like contour my nose a whole lot. So it's just, I try to do reverse contour as much as possible by getting like straight down on my nostrils and then blending that out in the middle. So I try not to go too far in with the concealer. All right, done blending out the concealer, and as you can see, it is nice and bright, and that's just the way I like it. Before I do go in with my blush, I will go back in with my foundation brush and just tap between the concealer and the bronzer and the sides of my mouth around where I put all the concealer basically. Just try to marry those areas in together. Marry the lines between them in together. So that's what we're doing. I'm even gonna go over my mouth because I like under my eyes to be brighter. I kind of like the brightness around my mouth to be dimmed down just a tad bit. Still bright, but just dimmed down a tad bit. Now I will blend out that area between my forehead, my forehead and my forehead, the bronzer and the concealer that I just put there. Another reason why this is a good foundation brush, so you can just use the edges just to, like, you know, get what you need, do what you need to do. And look, already it just looks so beautiful. My base looks so good with the bronzer, the concealer, everything is just marrying together nicely. Now we can move on to blush. This right here, I've been having this for a while and I've never picked it up and used it, but Rare Beauty blush has been all the rave right now, and this has slowly creeped its way to the top of my next favorite blush right now. I don't know the shade of this, but if I can figure out what the shade name of this is, I'll put it down in the description box. I'm so sorry, I can't find the box, but this is so tiny and so cute. I'm just like, I need more blushes, but in the tiny sample size. So let's go ahead and get some on here. Now, one thing about this, what I have learned is that you need to move fast. I like to put several dots, just spread it all out, smile, and blend it out. It definitely stays where you put it, so that's why I try to like move it around as quickly as possible and not try and let it just sit all right there. Oh, she's pink. Like, that's just so pretty. That's just so pretty to me. So I'm gonna put some on. And I mean, yeah, I mean, you can see it. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the blush. Like, you can see it. You can see it, how pretty it is. And a lot goes a long way. I'm gonna go back in with my concealer and blend out that area between the blush and the concealer, just so that line isn't harsh, but we can still have our rosy cheeks. Now, I'm not talking about the powder because I've been using this powder for all my videos. If you check out my fall makeup video, you'll know exactly what powder I'm using to set my under eye and my face. I want to talk about the puff. This is a Sephora Velour face puff. I usually use my brush to set my under eyes, but I have been seeing more techniques on how to use this, and I'm really happy with the results that it gives. So it gets my under eye really nicely. Oops. And it doesn't take much for anything just to be blended away. Like, I put a lot right there, but I can just take the other end and just blend that in because it doesn't have any powder on it, and just like tap that in, buff that in, and there we go. And then after I finish under my eyes, I go into my mouth and my forehead. Now, here's where I get a little messy. I don't like wipe the powder off. I just go in. To get a little bit brighter of an under eye, I will take some on the puff and just tap it in and leave it right there. And I just wanna, I guess, let that bake and just let it sit there just for a moment. I'm not gonna let it sit there too long, pretty much just until I get my next powder ready that I'm using for my face. I have been using a new setting spray by RYIA Beauty. This is the Skin Loyalty Natural Finish Setting Spray. It's supposed to blur, mattify, and set the face. It blurs, it mattifies, it set the face. I mean, I've already like put on my translucent powder and all that stuff, but the fact that I feel like this further blurs, mattifies, and sets my face, damn. They really have did something with this one. Like, this is how much I've used of it already. I'm trying not to use so much of it because, girl, like, I just realized how good it is in the last... I've already put a dent in it. And I need to buy another one. But I just love I really love the mist that comes out. It's really fine. I don't know if I can show you guys, right? Also, with it being a clean product, it doesn't have like that hairspray, that aerosol can type of feel to it. It sits on the face nice and light, and it dries down beautifully. Like, if you can see my face, like, it looks wet, but it's gonna dry down to a matte. Like, if you can tell right here, it's already pretty dried down. There are some little wet spots, but believe me, it'll be gone in like 5 minutes. I love the setting spray. This right here, she's my new girl, and she's like kind of thick too. That's why I feel like she does a really good job by really mattifying, like setting on the face, like mattifying it, setting it, just blurring it. Like, talking about it, I want some more. So for mascara, I just used the RYIA Come Hell or High Water mascara. I've been using this for, I think, over a year now. I really love how it makes my natural lashes look. I don't have long lashes to begin with, but you can see, like, from far away, like, oh wow, looks like she has a little mascara on, and up close, like, I can see my eyelashes without having to put on some falsies. And that's the look that this helps me to get. That, okay, I can put on mascara, my lashes will show and stay up, and I don't have to like put on lashes. So I really have been liking this RYIA Come Hell or High Water mascara. But now we can move on to the lips. I already have them lined, but what I have been picking up is my LYS Beauty Speak Love Glossy Lip Treatment Oil. And if it looks like I'm struggling, I am struggling, because I literally need to go buy more of this. I'm squeezing the last little bit out of the tube. I bought a new one and I can't find it. But I mean, y'all see that, right? It just adds the perfect gloss to the lips. They look glossy, glassy. They're not overly sticky, and I love that my lip is basically getting a treatment while my lips are looking like good. It's smooth, it's not thick. My go-to gloss for sure. And there you have it. This is the finished look. Let me go ahead and take my hair clip out so we can just see it all come together. Okay, period. Girl, you did that. I did do that. Okay, high five. All right, beauty babes, this is the final look using all of my favorites. I am so pleased on how the whole look came out. I'm just so happy with how my makeup looks. I just feel like I get better and better every time I do my makeup, and using all these products just make me feel like I'm a pro. Okay, girl, make me feel like I'm a pro. You see those cheeks, the contour, the bronze, girl, like we're just looking so put together. I love it. If you have any questions about anything that I use, comment me down below. Don't be afraid to chit chat with your girl. And also, if you're not subscribed already, girl, go ahead and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up while you're at it. Subscribe, become a part of the Beauty Babe fam. You'll love it here. It's Liddy here. We're always getting a dose of makeup. If you want more dose of Kryssy, check out my vlogs. You can get a dose of beauty, lifestyle, and adventure over there. But yeah, girl, I can't wait to see you on the next dose of makeup. Deuces.